Welcome to the channel. We just received the largest patch note in history. That's why I have to split this video into two parts. In this part I will focus on new mystical companions, new zone and events, and the next one will be directed towards the new gear. So let's go straight to the part that interests everyone the most. Obviously, new companions.
Welcome to our last major update of 2023, Splintered Souls. This update introduces familiars to fight alongside you. The Southern Dreadlands Zone and Sentinel Stand Zone event. 3 new Inferno difficulties and 5 new HELLIQUARY bosses, and a flaming flood of additional content. We wanted to thank you for slaying demons with us. Across many content updates and for major updates this year. Your love for Diablo Immortal is what inspires us to introduce new features to the game every 2 weeks. May your holidays be full of enemies to best, and experiences to uncover in Splintered Souls. The Dawn of Familiars. Use your knowledge of the arcane to contract a mighty creature, keeping them by your side to aid in your exploits. Familiars are extraordinary companions, beasts of the desert, fluorescent beings of light, tree-dwelling spirits of a most predatory nature. It is paramount to tread the path that lays ahead with an equally formidable ally at your side. Get a feel for familiars by playing the new Darkling Plane limited time event. Familiars are peculiar creatures that must first be contracted. You can earn familiars by playing through in-game activities and events, or purchase optional in-game bundles to level and obtain powerful familiars. Familiars to provide utility powers and passive skills, and they can aid you in battle, but don't impact resonance or combat rating. More powerful familiars can also be acquired through melding and conversion. Players can bring up to 6 familiars with them in combat, making the best use of them through primary active and secondary passive slots. The familiar equipped in your primary slot will have all of their skills and abilities active to influence gameplay, while the familiars in secondary slots only affect gameplay. Through their secondary skills, players will be able to purchase additional secondary slots for gold in the familiars tab.
So we can assume that the main companion will have some active skills, and each subsequent one in the secondary slot will most likely unlock a new feature, like loot picking.
Familiar skills and utility. Each familiar has an active skill, which triggers in combat automatically, passive skills, attributes, and traits that boost their own abilities and yours. Active skills are the primary skill for each familiar, while passive skills improves the stats of the familiar. Traits help boost your various player stats such as movement speed, or critical strike chance, and have great utility use. Attributes determine the familiar's power, and improve these values to improve their potency. A level 1 familiar only has its active skill unlocked, with all 6 passive skills unlocked once the familiar reaches level 30. Familiars have traits, which can improve things such as critical hit chance or movement speed. When not actively equipped as the active skills, passive skills strengthen the familiar itself, while traits improve your stats, including the familiar's traits. Traits become available once a familiar reaches level 30, and are divided into 2 common categories, common and advanced. Common traits only apply to the familiar they appear on, and advanced traits stack between your currently select familiar and bonded familiars. A familiar can have a total of 6 traits. Familiars can have 4 different attributes which determine the potency of their passive skills: ferocity, agility, insight, and resilience.
So basically it sounds quite complicated, at least for now. But once we get companions in game, I'm going to figure it out.
Ordinary and Aberrant familiars.
And here I hope that their colors are random, because if they match the colors of the items, there is still room for legendary companions. Just mention.
Familiars have 2 separate variants, ordinary and aberrant. Ordinary familiars are most common, they can be found easily, and contain the valuable skills available to aid in combat and beyond. By comparison, aberrant familiars carry stronger skills, and only aberrant familiars can achieve the most advanced growth stage of physical maturity.
Yeah, so for now there will only be 2 grades in the game. I wonder if they are going to add higher grade in future.
Familiar acquisition of familiars can be acquired in a few ways, mainly through a summoning contract or through purchasing a tamed familiar. To acquire a summoning contract, talk to Nisha the Witch in Westmark and purchase one with gold. Summoning contracts can also be obtained as event rewards, a battle pass reward, or as a regular drop from killing monsters in Sanctuary.
I wonder if the regular drop will be limited somehow, just like regular gems.
A summoning contract has an equal chance of producing each kind of familiar. Each kind of familiar has certain active abilities they favor, so choosing specific familiars may best suit your playstyle.
I think that's clear. The easiest way to obtain familiar is to simply complete one contract.
Additionally, familiars can be purchased at the Tamed Familiars shop at level 30. Familiars can also be obtained from shop bundles, the marketplace, the Boon of Plenty, and through event rewards. Purchasing a familiar guarantees what type of familiar you receive and whether they are ordinary or aberrant. Aberrant familiars can also be traded at Winton's Market, with passive and active skills fully unlocked on purchase, and varying numbers of common and advanced traits. Aberrant familiars can also be obtained through conversion. Familiar quality. Familiars have 4 different quality levels: common, magic, rare, and legendary. Each rarity of familiar indicates the level and strength of passive traits the familiar possesses. Ordinary familiars can be common, magic, rare, while aberrant familiars have the potential to be of all 4 types of rarity.
Okay, for some reason I didn't notice that before, so the legendary familiar will be available at day 1.
Summoning table. Once you've obtained a summoning contract, use the summoning table in Nizza's shop to summon your familiar. Using the summoning table assigns the kind of familiar, unique active skill, and passive skills which are assigned but not yet available, as well as attributes and stats. If you've purchased a level 30 familiar at Nisha's shop, the outcomes are a little different. The familiar type is already assigned upon purchase, as is the unique active skill, attributes, and stats. Traits are assigned immediately, as the purchased familiar is already level 30.
And it kind of reminds me of the charm system. Although you cannot purchase high bonus charm, but we all know how difficult it is to get decent charm in game. I hope that getting a solid companion won't be that difficult.
Leveling familiars. Your familiar receives a new skill every 5 levels, until they have all 6 skills at level 30. Familiars can be empowered by providing them Spirit Essence, which drops from elite monsters, chests, or is available in shop bundles. Familiar Melding. Melding provides a way to increase the power of your familiar by taking 2 familiars and melding them together. Melding allows you to select or transfer specific passive skills onto your preferred familiar. Melding to level 30 familiars will produce a familiar with improved passive skills and allows you to select the 6 passive skills of your choice from the 2 melded familiars. This also has a chance to produce a familiar with rare passive skills, even if both familiars in the melding process possess none. When merging familiars of the same type, if the familiar that is discarded has attributes higher than the kept familiar, the melded familiar will receive a +1 bonus to that attribute. Melding is also available for merging to different kinds of familiars. This produces a familiar with different or better passive skills, and you can select which kind of familiar you would like to keep alongside the preferred passive skills. Familiar Conversion. Familiar Conversion provides access to a new familiar and a chance at obtaining an aberrant familiar. You can convert familiars of all the same type, or select 3 different familiars to convert. Converting your familiars generates new traits and can sometimes create an aberrant familiar. Once you have 3 aberrant familiars for conversion and some spare platinum, you can convert 3 aberrant familiars for a chance at an aberrant familiar with legendary traits. Conversion does not guarantee your converted familiar will remain at its specific rarity. However, If you want your converted familiar to remain as a legendary, you can use a conversion stone. Familiar stones can be obtained either through ending packs with the familiars in your inventory or by purchasing shop bundles. Conversion does not guarantee a more powerful familiar. However, the use of a conversion stone allows you to lock in or improve the rarity of the familiar you are using to conversion.
Okay, so we know that getting the familiar we want will be time-consuming and will largely depend on our luck, because the upgrade mechanics are practically random, unless you buy some kind of stones. But I would rather analyze it in practice, since I prefer this way. Nevertheless, that's it for companion informations. If your brain is not melting yet, then let's move to the new location and events. So we have a new location with a small sneak peek in the form of screenshots and lore. A new event is introduced with a new location.
To access the Southern Dreadlands zone, you'll just need to begin the Splintered Souls main quest, Lost Justice. After completing the Tristram Cathedral main quest and reaching Hell difficulty 4, you'll be called to look for Eldruin, the Sword of the Archangel Tyrell, new to Diablo Immortal. This main quest incorporates some choice-based decision-making and a few optional quests to pursue. Hold your ground in the Sentinel's Stand Zone event. Beyond new monsters, new ambient events, and the new main quest, the Southern Dreadlands will also play host to a new zone event, Sentinel's Stand. In this event, you'll race through the Gully of Madness, summoning defensive towers with abilities like Freeze and Chain Lightning to prevent shard-warped creatures from reaching a massive shard storm and wreaking havoc on the land. Should you succeed in your efforts to protect this delightfully miserable part of Sanctuary, magic, rare, or legendary items and gold will be your spoils.
From the patch note, we can learn about the new Inferno difficulty levels and HELLIQUARY bosses.
The Darkling Plane limited time event. 3 different familiars will be available to you. Each day of the Darkling Plane you will choose one at random, which begins at level 30 maximum level, and contains a random assortment of active skills, passive skills, traits, and attributes. Keep your trusty familiar close, and together you shall prevail over the Darkling Plane's looming threats, and secure rewards such as 1 familiar contract, gold, scrap, and other crafting materials.
So with this event, we will be able to test the companion at the maximum level.
Survivor's Bane limited time event. Survivor's Bane is a new limited time game mode that introduces a new perspective on Diablo Immortal in that it can be played either vertically or horizontally on your mobile devices. In Survivor's Bane, you'll begin each run without your character's items and a random skill from their class. As you move throughout the map, any skills you have equipped will be automatically cast for you. Smiting Hell's minions will grant you useful experience orbs that level up your character each time you level up. You'll be presented with the option to equip a new skill. Up to 6 total can be equipped. The skill you're presented with can be from any class regardless of your character's class or to upgrade an equipped skill.
And here we have quite an interesting solution. I think it will be an event that will not require much concentration, especially since it can be played vertically. Probably the idea is to be able to run it anywhere. And that's it. In the next episode, I will discuss all the added equipment. And as always, thanks for watching.